Now, most of us have shoulder pain because of our modern environment, meaning we sit all day hunched over a computer or watching television or driving to work. And what that does is makes our shoulders come forward and our arms rotate in. And this disrupts our entire upper back and shoulders and can lead to shoulder pain. So what we're going to do to see what you can do to help your shoulders feel a lot better is bring out Kyle, do an assessment and some exercises to help his shoulders feel a lot better and teach you what you can do at home. So Kyle, do you want to come out here? And let's just put our left arm on the wall for us. So what he's doing by putting his left arm on the wall, it's actually rotated in slightly to get his fingertips up. And that's what we'd spend all day doing, is having our arms rotated in on a computer or cooking at home and so forth. So if you can't actually rotate your arms in independently of your shoulders, what happens is when you rotate your arms in, your shoulders come up and forward and that leads to pain. So we're going to check to see if Kyle can rotate his arms in without his shoulder blades coming up and forward. So right now, do you mind looking forward for us? So Kyle's shoulder is up and forward a little bit, and he's thinking, well, how do I know that? What we're going to do is we're going to regress this stretch slightly, or this assessment, bring that shoulder towards the wall. That will take stress off his arm. Now pull your shoulder blade back and down. And what he felt was his shoulder blade move down and closer to his spine. So he knows, did you feel that?
Yes, I did.
So he knows that when he turned and made this exercise more difficult, that his shoulder blade actually went up and away from his spine and created instability in the shoulder girdle. So make it easy at home so you can assess this. Pull your shoulder blade back and down. Great. Now gently turn away, but try to keep that shoulder right where it is. So don't let it come up and forward. Good, good, good. That's better. And right there is where it sticks, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So now you've got your shoulder blade stable, but you're feeling tension down your arm. And you can even feel he's trying to bend his elbow. Straighten your elbow out. Where do you feel the most tension?
In my forearms.
Forearm. So we're going to show him an exercise in a minute how to massage his forearm. If he goes even further, his shoulder blade's going to come up and forward, and we know that's gone too far. So that means he lacks the ability to rotate his arm and his shoulder joint. And if he does any movements with his arms, or say he's a left-handed tennis player and goes to hit a topspin forehand, when he rotates his arm, it's going to upset his shoulder and cause pain and injury as a result. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the ground, loosen up some structures around his shoulders, forearm, and do some stretches, come back and reassess and find that his shoulders are moving much better as a result. So do you mind lying on the ground? First, I want you to massage the front of that chest and shoulder on the left-hand side. So he needs to massage all the muscles that come out of his chest, his internal rotator cuff muscles, which are muscles that help control rotation of the arm, and he's massaging those muscles. This is like chewing gum before you blow a bubble. You need to get some blood supply to those tissues so they can move correctly. And he's just finding a sore spot. You can support your head with the other hand if you like, or yeah, the towel. Perfect. Great. And now just put your palm down for me. This is a regression, so he can start with his palm up. A progression would be to turn his palm up. So he's with palm down, which is rotate his arm out, which is going to make it a little bit easier. He's finding a sore spot. Good, perfect. Maybe scooch out to the front of the shoulder a little bit more. Is that tight?
Yep.
He's going to stay on each sore spot for 10 to 20 seconds until it starts to release, and he's going to do all the structures on the front of his chest and shoulder. While he's there, he's also going to do his forearm, because he said his forearm was the tightest, and that was restricting movement in the shoulder. The muscles of the fingertips, hands, forearms go all the way up into the shoulder and actually attach to the spine. Well, the muscles don't, but they're connected by fascia, which is connective tissue, and so the hand or forearm can actually affect function of the shoulder. So what he's going to do while he's there is actually just put this ball on his forearm. He can also do this while he's sitting at his desk, so he could be actually answering emails and massaging his forearm. So that makes it easy, right? Perfect. Mm-hmm. He could do both sides, so we can turn that over. It's much easier to do this on a desk, obviously, because you can turn your palm and have palm down, then palm up, and loosen up his forearm. We then need to do the muscles around his shoulder blade so they can work better to stabilize his shoulder blade when he's moving his arm. So let's lie over on your back for us. Use that that shirt as a little pillow. If your head feels like your head tips back at home, or when you're doing this exercise, make sure you use a pillow to take stress off your neck. Let's put that ball underneath your left shoulder blade. Good. And then let's just bring that left arm over and hug your right shoulder. Good. And lie back and just relax on that. Perfect. So what he's doing, do you mind just pulling your shoulder blade down? Good. By hugging his opposite shoulder, he's actually reaching his arm across, which moves his shoulder blade away from the spine and exposes those muscles that go from the shoulder blade to the spine. Let's bend the knees. Bending the knees will take a little bit of stress off your lower back. Let's scoot your body, find a sore spot. You got one?
Yep.
Perfect. So he's going to find a sore spot, stay on that for 10 to 20 seconds, move around all those muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine, spending 2 to 3 minutes on either side. Obviously, once he's done the assessment, he knows which side will be tighter. He can spend longer on that side. Okay, let's bring that ball out. Once he's massaged the muscles, he needs to move into his stretching exercises. The first one we're going to do is just put that palm down for us flat. Great, bend the knees for me. By putting the palm down, he's actually rotating the arm in, but his shoulder still came up with him. So that's beautiful. Do you feel a little stretch on the front of your shoulder? Mm-hmm. So now he's pulling his shoulder blade back and down and learning to rotate his arm in. Because he's done these massage exercises first with a tennis ball, the joints and structures are able to perform this movement more effectively. So he can spend 15, 30 seconds on that shoulder, and then we're going to progress to stretching some other muscles that are going to help his arm move better in his shoulder and not stress out his shoulder by being unstable, moving the whole structure together. Let's stand up for us. Let's now come over here and we're going to stretch your left bicep. Perfect. So what he's doing now, his bicep muscle actually comes from below his elbow joint and attaches to the front of the shoulder. So your biceps are actually responsible for stabilizing your shoulder blade. And if they're tight, they can pull your shoulder blade out of alignment. So what we can see, he turns his palm, he's going to turn his palm and put it up on a desk or some kind of high piece of furniture. So his arm is actually rotated in. And when he rotates it in, you can see how his shoulder blade goes up. So let's pull that shoulder blade back and down. Perfect. So arm is rotated in and shoulder blade is back and down stable. And that will make sure he stretches his bicep. Do you feel that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now the structures are going to be more able to move where he can move his arm, stabilize his shoulder blade, take stress off his shoulder. Let's go back to our palm on wall stretch, which we can actually use now as a forearm stretch. Straight away your arm's straighter, I can see that. Okay, great. Let's turn into this again. Pull your shoulder blade back and down. Good. Let's turn your head this way. Now hold that shoulder blade. Try to straighten your elbow a little bit more. Beautiful. Great. Now he's actually able to internally rotate his arm a bit more and keep his shoulder blade stable. We can progress this even more. Keep your hand fixed and just gently try to turn your elbow in. Good. Do you feel how your shoulder went up and forward? Mm-hmm. Pull that shoulder blade back and down for me. Hold your shoulder blade, right? That's what's going to give you a very good joint for this arm to move in. That's your glenohumeral joint or your shoulder joint, and that needs to be stabilized by your scapula so your arm can move correctly. Hold your hand, stabilize your scapula. Good, or your shoulder blade. Now gently try to turn that elbow forward just a little bit. That's it right there. Perfect. Now you probably feel a stretch all the way down your arm into your shoulder.
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. And he can do that stretch for 30 seconds to 60 seconds each day after he's done the massage techniques. So the key with shoulder pain, or not getting shoulder pain, is to make sure that you can retrain your arm so that when you perform movements throughout the day that require you to move your arms, you're not always using your shoulders and upper back, destabilizing that area, which can lead to pain and or injury. So assess where it's tight, use appropriate massage and stretching techniques, and your shoulders will feel a lot better. I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you next time.